So this will be today's agenda. So we will check introduction of project and project service automation, and then we will be seeing the important terms that are coming under this project service automation model, also known as project operation. And then we will be discussing about the high level project operation flow. Okay. And then finally, we will see a demo of all the steps involved in the project operation flow. Okay. So project operation or project service automation both means same only. So earlier it was coined as project service automation, but recently Microsoft has changed the name to project operation. But if you see any docs or something, it will be used. They would have used both the terms. In some place, it might be mentioned like project service automation. In some other place, it will be mentioned like project operation. Okay, but in future, it will be called as project operation. So before going to project service automation, we first need to know what is project and what is project management. Okay, so this is a simple definition of project and project management. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. Okay, and similarly, if you talk about project management, so it is an application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to meet project objectives. Okay, so project is like a temporary endeavor. Okay, so that will result in creation of unique product or service. And project operation is something like application of skills, tools to achieve the project. Okay, and finally, this project operation application that Microsoft provides, right? This will help you to manage the end-to-end project capabilities. Okay. So now I hope you know what is project and project management and how this project operation application, the PSA application, helps you to manage project effectively. Okay, and one more thing is like, so last week when we talk about field service application, so I told you, right, field service is running on top of customer service model, right? And similarly, if you talk about this project service automation, I would say this is running on top of sales model. Okay, so here the standard sales process will be there. Okay, the opportunity, quote, order, invoice, right? So that process will be here in project service automation application also. But in addition to that, we will be having some extra entities. Okay, so that we will be discussing. Okay, and before we go further into the session, I will give you one example. Okay, so in sales model, okay, whenever we create lead and convert to opportunity or convert to quote, so every time whenever we sell something to customer, right, we are selling the existing product to the customer. Okay, whatever we discuss now, I am talking about the standard sales model. Okay, so under sales model, whenever you sell something to customer, okay, you are selling an existing product to the customer that you already own. Okay, but when we enter into this project service automation, right, here we are not going to sell the existing product to the customer. Okay, once the customer is onboarded, okay, here we are going to sell a new product to the customer that we are going to implement after signing a contract with customer. Okay, so that is the difference between sales model and project service automation. Okay, the first thing is here we will be here also we'll be following the same opportunity, quote, order, invoice process, but in addition to that we will be having some extra 2-3 entities. That is one thing. And the second one is here we are going to sell a new product to the customer that we are not owning as of now. Okay, and then one more thing, so the examples would be like professional firms like our IT companies. So what we are doing, initially we will be onboarding one customer. Okay, and then we will be collecting the requirement, and then only we will be starting the project, right? We are not selling any already owned product to the customer. We are collecting the requirement from the customer, and then we are implementing a project for 6 months or 1 year, and then we are handing over the project to the customer. So this is one example of using project service automation. Okay, and the other one is this real estate companies. Okay, so if you see big flats. So if you see, initially they will talk with customer, understand customer requirement, and they will collect money from the customer initially, and then only they will start building the flats, right? So for that also they need to use this project service automation. They need to apply the resources to for building the flats, and then they need to purchase lot of things, and finally they will be selling it to the customer at a higher price. Okay, so these two are the examples of using project service automation. Okay. So moving on to the important terms coming under project service automation or project operation. The first one is project opportunities. So it's nothing but the standard opportunity only, but here we will call it as project opportunities. Okay. Opportunities are warm leads who are interested in your project services, similar to sales. Okay. So here the only difference is we'll be having one separate form for this project opportunity. Okay, but other than the backend framework and the table, everything is same only. Okay, whatever we used in sales model, right, we are going to use the same table here, only the name project will be there extra. Okay, and then next one is project codes. So this is similar to the standard codes that we discussed in our sales model. So here during this process only, we will be giving a proposal to our customer. Okay, and then this will be something new. Okay, projects. So usually in the standard sales process, from quotes we will be directly converted to order, right? But here within quotes we cannot give any estimated amount, right? So in sales model, we know we are going to sell the existing product. We know that this is $1,000 or $1,050. Okay, but here you don't know how much you need to charge from the customer initially, right? So you need to create some project, and you need to apply the resources, and you need to give a schedule for that project, and based on that only you will get some estimate, and you need to send a quote to that customer based on the project estimate that you get. Okay, so that we will check in our demo part. And then we have project contract. So project contract is nothing but order table. Okay, so in sales, we after we own a code, we will be converting the code to order, right? So here we call it as project contract. Instead of order, we'll be calling it as project contract. Okay, and then finally here also we will be having invoice. So usually we will be invoicing the customer at once during our standard sales process, but here it will be different. Based on the initial agreement with our customer, we will be either billing them once in a month or once in a quarter, or during the milestone. For example, once we complete our ST phase, then we will collect some money from customer. Once we deploy to production, then we will collect something, and once it is go live, then we will charge the remaining amount. Okay, so based on that, we will be invoicing the customer. So here we can configure the invoice frequency. Okay, we will see that part as well in our demo. And then schedule board, you people might be aware who attended this field service training session. So those guys, you already know, right? We will be having one schedule board or a calendar kind of thing where we can put the required resource, and we can map the resource with our work order, right? Similarly, here instead of work order, we will be matching the resource with the project. Okay, so we'll be having one project. Okay, so against that project, we need to have multiple resources, right? We need to have a project manager, functional consultants, technical consultants, testers. So we need to have multiple resources to work on that project, right? So those we will be mapped using schedule board. Okay, and then we need to have actual resources who are going to work. So we talked about that, right? So either it can be a project manager or technical consultant, functional consultant. So those resources we should be already configured in the system, so that those resources can be mapped to the project using schedule board. Okay, and the last two things are time entries and the expenses. So we are also doing the same, right? Every week we will be filling, we will be booking our time, right? So against some project ID, and we'll be giving 8 hours per day, right? So similar to that, in real-time projects service automation also, the resources need to book their times, right? So I have worked on 24 hours for this project or that project, right? So that they will be doing using this time entries model. And finally, expense. So similar to us, we are booking expense for our broadband, or if required any food expense, right? So similar to that, the resources who are working in the project, they will be using this time entries and the expenses model to book their timings and expenses. Okay. And for this expense and the time entries, it should go to some approval, and the manager should approve to get into the submitted stage. Okay. Any query in the terms that we discussed so far? Opportunities, codes, projects, contract, invoices, schedule board, resources, time entries, and expenses. Okay, moving on to project operation flow. So this is a high level flow. So it looks similar to the sales process flow. Okay, so it starts from opportunity. So if required, we can start from lead as well. So initially we can capture as a lead and then qualify the lead to convert to project opportunity. And here only we will be identifying the requirement of the customer, and then we will be converting the opportunity into a quote record. Okay, in the standard sales process, once quote is accepted by the customer, then we will be immediately converting it to contract. Okay, but here it will be slightly different. So we don't know how much estimate we need to give to customer at this point of time. Okay, so for that we need to have this project planning. We need to create one project, and we need to give some estimate timeline, and we need to add some bookable resource, and we need to calculate the cost price and sale price. So based on that, we will be giving a quotation to the customer, and once the particular customer is happy with the quotation, we will be converting it to a project contract. In case if they are not okay, then we will be closing this quote and opportunity as lost. Okay. So once the project start, then we need to allocate resources to the project. Okay. And then the resources will be filling the time and expense from their side, and then the manager should approve that, and we need to have a project manager who will be monitoring all the project activities. Okay. So if you talk about any project, a project will have a start time and end time. Okay, project cannot run forever, right? If the project timeline is for 6 months, and if it starts from January 1, it should complete by June 30. We should not drag the project for 2-3 years, right? So for that, we need to have a project monitoring, where we will be checking whether it is going correctly or any deviation is there. So those kind of things will happen under project monitoring. And then based on the time and expense booking, we will be invoicing the customer. And then finally, we will be having some project analytics. Okay. So it can be a dashboard or other insights. Okay. So any query in this flow. So it looks similar to our standard sales process only, but only thing is here you will be having this project planning, and then the allocation of resources and the time booking. So only these 1 or 2 things will be different. Other than that, the same process: lead, opportunity, quote, order, invoice. I think we can move to the demo part of this project service automation. Okay. So initially we will be discussing about the configuration part. Okay. So we will check how to set up organization unit, and then calendar template, and how we can configure resources. So before configuring resources, we need to have a proficiency model, skill, role, and then we will be configuring a resource. And then we will see how the sale and the cost price list works. So till now, in our customer service model and sales model, we were discussing about a single price list only. We have not discussed about this two price list, but here we need to have two price list. One is like cost price list, and other one is sales price list. Okay. We will be having invoice frequency. So whether we need to bill the customer every month or every week or every quarter, or based on the milestone. So that we will be setting up here. Okay, so these are all the configuration or initial setup part of project service automation. Okay, and then before going to the process, we will be creating a project record for us. Okay, and then we need to have a account, and for that account we will be creating one opportunity, project opportunity, and then we will be converting into project code, and then within code we will be linking the project that we have already created. Okay, so this project will be the place where we'll be doing the planning, and from there only we will be getting the estimates that we need to give to customer. Okay, and then once the code is linked with the project, we'll be knowing the estimate and we will be sending the proposal to customer. And once the customer is happy with the code, we'll be converting it to project contract, which is nothing but order. And finally, we'll be creating an invoice. Okay. So from the app selector, I have chosen this project service. Okay, so currently it is named as project service only, but going forward in the coming days, it might get renamed to project operation. Okay. We'll discuss about organization unit. So for that, I need to go to this settings area. From here, we'll be having this organization units. So now I have created one organization unit for Chennai. So within the organization unit, we need to set up the currency. Okay, so this organization unit deals currency from rupee, and similarly, if it is organization unit from Thailand or some other country, then there will be a different currency. Okay, so this is one thing we need to configure, and we will be discussing about this cost price list in the coming part. Okay, so organization unit will be the first step in project service automation. Okay, and then we need to have a calendar template. So in the settings area itself, here you can see calendar template. The calendar template is like, so we'll be having first shift, second shift, third shift, right? So for that, we'll be having a template. So this one I have given like 9 to 6 template, and here whenever you create a project, you will be linking with this template, then automatically those projects will be listed here. So currently there are 2 projects that are coming under this work template, which means these 2 projects are running in the first shift, 9 to 6 shift. Okay. And similarly, if you want to create the other calendar templates or work template, you can create from here. One for second shift and the other one for third shift, that we can create. And based on different timing zones also, we can create here. And then coming to configuring resources. Okay, so before creating resource, we need to have some initial set of things: proficiency model, skill, and role. Okay, so that we will be configuring first, and then we'll be creating a resource and linking all those things together within the resource record. Okay, so first one is proficiency model. So to configure resources, so before that, any query till now. So we just created one organization unit, and we created a calendar template. Okay, so any query? Okay. So to configure resources, we need to go to this resources area. Okay. So here the first step is to configure proficiency model, which is also called as rating model. Okay. Here I will use the default one. So proficiency is something like whether this particular resource is good in that skill, or he is proficient in that skill, or he is familiar with that skill. So those kind of values we can configure here. Okay, so currently I am going to use this default rating model only. Okay, so if a particular resource has just started the particular skill, then I will be giving familiar rating model to that resource. If they are working in that same skill for some time, then I will be giving good rating for that resource. And similarly, if they are working in that particular skill for a very long time, then we can give proficient rating for that resource. Okay. So this is a standard one, but in case if we want to have some different rating model, we can give that as well. Okay, if you want to have some 5-level rating or you just want to give only 2-level rating, then you need to create a new rating model. And here you need to have minimum. If you want to have 5, then the minimum value you need to give 1 and the maximum value you need to give 5. Okay, and here you can create 5 records. Okay, so now for our demo purpose, we will be using the default rating model that is coming along with the coming along while installing this solution. Okay. Next one is skill. So here only we are mentioning all the skills that the resources should have. Okay, C sharp, C++, C functional, AX functional, AX technical, C technical. So all those skills we can configure here. Okay, so C functional, I created this skill. Okay, and characteristic type also we need to give it like skill, or is there any certification. Okay, so since C functional is a skill, I have mentioned as skill. Okay, so similarly we can create n number of skills here. Okay, based on the C technical, C functional, X technical, X functional. Okay, the next one is role. So in our organization we have different roles like consultant, senior consultant, specialist, senior specialist, manager, group manager. So those other roles. Okay, currently I created one role called consultant. Okay, so this is the one I created. We will be using this in our demo. Okay, so we just need to give a role name, and if this particular role requires any mandatory skill, then we can add the skill here. Okay, but for consultant there is no mandatory skill. Okay, but in case if it is a project manager, then we need to have a mandatory skill of project management. Right? So those kind of things we can add here, but for consultant it's not required to have any mandatory skill, so I will not add anything special here. Okay, but I have already created one skill called C functional separately, so that is there. Okay, so till now we created one, we are going to use this proficiency model, the default rating model. And then I created one skill for C functional. Okay. And then I created one role as consultant. Okay. Now we need to create a resource. Okay. So this resource only will be used while booking in any project. Okay, so using schedule board, whenever you book a resource, this bookable resource only can be mapped with the project. Okay, and while explaining field service itself, I created one bookable resource for my name. Right, I'm going to reuse the same thing here. Okay, so under resource, so this is the one I created while we have field service demo. Right, so I will open the same thing. So here under project operation, project service tab, I have mapped the skills and role here. Okay, so I created a skill and role, right? So I have mapped those two things here under this bookable resource. Okay, the first step is I need to create one bookable resource for my username. So currently I am only the having one license in this environment, but in real time we will be having we need to create multiple bookable resources. So since this is for demo, I'm creating only one bookable resource for my name. Under project service, I'm giving the skill and role. Okay, skill I am giving like C functional, and rating value we discussed, right, proficiency model. So here I'm giving proficient, and then the resource role I'm giving it as consultant. Okay, so this can be consultant, senior consultant, specialist, software engineer. So whatever the role we have, right? So we can give it here. Okay. So we are done with proficiency model, skill, role, and resources. Configured a bookable resource, and this bookable resource can be booked using a schedule board. We are done with the configuration of resources. Now we will set up a cost and sales price list. Okay, so to set up price list, we need to go to sales area, and here you will be seeing this price list. Usually in our demo, we will be using this retail price list, right? Where, when we discussed about sales model, we were using this retail price list. But here in project service automation, we need to have two set of price list. Okay, one is cost rate and the other one is for sale rate. Okay, now I will open the cost rate. So here we need to give the currency, and if I go to this role price, here you can see I have added a consultant role. Okay, so the one that I created, right? So I have added this consultant role here, and you can see the price as 1,000 rupees and unit as day, which means okay. So within price list, I need to give the currency, and then the context here I need to select cost. So since I already saved and activated this price list, it is not editable. But when you try to create first time, here it will show you cost or sale. Okay, so since this is for cost rate, here I have given cost. Okay, and then under role price, I am giving the cost to the company. Okay, and similarly, I will open India sale rate. Here you can see the context. I have given value as sales. Okay, so instead of cost, here I need to give sales because this is for sales rate. Okay, and then here also I have given the currency as rupee, and here role price I have given like 1,500 rupees. And if it is for a different country, then we will be having different currency. So in India, we will be using rupee as a currency. That's why for India cost and sale rate, I have configured rupee. Okay, and then invoice frequency. So for that, again, we need to go to settings. Under general, if you click on this invoice frequency, we already have some default frequencies. So if you want to invoice the customer at the start of every month, we can use this invoice frequency. Okay, so it's monthly, and period is also monthly, days of run, day of a period, and runs per month. So here we mentioned like one, right? So which means if you go to this invoice frequency detail and open this, okay, so this particular invoice will run on the first day of month. Okay, occurrence of weekday. So it will be running on the first day of every month. Okay, so a new invoice record will be created, and that invoice will be sent to customer at the start of every week. Sorry, at the start of every month. Okay, similarly, we have other bi-monthly and seventh day, last day, some different standard things. If you want to have a quarterly invoice frequency, then you can create one for quarterly setup. Okay, so this is all about invoice frequency, and these are the important configuration part that we need to know. So we need to have now we are having a organization unit. We have set up the calendar template, and we have the resources, and we also have this cost and sales price list, and then we have configured the invoice frequency. Okay, so these are all the important configuration part in project service automation, but we also have some other configuration part also, okay, that we can learn from docs.microsoft.com. But these are all the important things that we need to know. Okay, now we will be going to the actual process, how we are creating an opportunity for an account, and then how we are converting to code. Okay, so that process we will check now. So for that, we need to follow the same sales process, right? So we will be going to sales area, and here I will be creating one new opportunity. There is one customer. Okay, so that customer wants to implement a CRM solution for them. Okay, and the customer name is Reliance. So every time in our demo, we are using the same account, right? So I'll be using the same account here. Okay, so since I created this record, okay, and my resource is already configured under this organization unit of Chennai, this Chennai is automatically populated, and currency is has been populated from the organization level. So when I install this trial instance, I have set up like US dollar, so that's why it populated as US dollar, but I will change this to rupee. So we will not discuss more on the opportunity. We will discuss only the important parts, okay? Because we already know opportunity, quote, order, invoice process, okay? So now the next step is after creating opportunity, we'll be going to this opportunity line. Here you will be seeing two tabs. So usually in the standard sales process, you will only be seeing this product based lines, okay? But here this product based lines will be used very less only. For example, if we have any IP solution with us and we are going to sell that IP solution directly to the customer, then we will be creating the product based lines. But most of the time in project service operation, we'll be using this project based lines. Okay. So the opportunity line will be like similar to our opportunity title only, right? So they want to implement a Dynamics 365 CRM solution for them. A customer wants to implement a Dynamics 365 CRM solution for them, and for that we are going to create an opportunity line, and then we'll be converting this to quote, and where we'll be giving the estimates. Okay, and name also I will be giving on to implement Dynamics CRM. Okay, so actually the client is looking for CRM product only. So that's why I'm giving the name for opportunity line as implement Dynamics CRM, and product type as project based service only. Here I'm not selecting product, I'm selecting project based service. Okay, and customer will have some budget, right? So that will be giving here if we know, otherwise we can leave it blank. And billing method also we have two options, either it can be time and material or fixed price. Okay, based on the requirement we will select either one. And then our opportunity line is created. Okay, so now once the opportunity line is created, and if the customer is really a warm customer and they really want to look for our proposal, then I will be converting this particular opportunity to a quote record. Okay, for that I will be going to this quote. I will create a new. Once I click on a new quote, so we already know, right? Once we click on new quote from here, all the fields that are already populated in the opportunity will be the field values will be mapped to your quote as well. Okay. So here, if you go to this summary tab, you can see almost all the values from your opportunity got populated here. Okay. And price list, I will choose sales price list. And if I go to quote lines also, the same opportunity line will be populated here. And here, so some standard price list got automatically updated. So I don't want to use this India bill rates. I will delete this one. So instead, I will be using India sales price list that I created. Okay. India sales rate. Okay. Okay. So within code, we don't have to do much because everything got automatically populated from our opportunity record. Okay. So only thing is we need to set price list correctly. Okay. Now, even we don't know how much we need to give, how much estimate we need to give to our customer. Okay, because this we are going to implement a new project. Okay, we are going to implement a new project for our customer, and we also don't know how much it will cost for us and for how much we need to sell that project to the customer. Okay, so for that, here we need to do some planning activity. Okay, so that we will discuss now. Okay, so before sending this quotation or proposal to the customer, we'll be having one, we'll be creating one project. Okay, and from there we will be collecting the estimate amount. Okay, and that amount will be, we'll be putting that as a quoted amount here. Okay, currently it is showing 0, but based on our project creation and the allocation of resources and the estimate coming from there, we will be giving the quoted amount here accordingly. Okay, and once we create a project, we'll be linking that project here within our quote line. Okay, within our quote line, here we have this project lookup. Here we will be linking the newly created project. Okay, so we will stop the quote process here, now we will be creating one project, and then we will be linking the project with the code, and then we will be converting it to project contract. Okay. So to create a project, we need to go to this projects area. So if you see, already I have created one project template for standard CRM implementation. So this is like a template I have created. Okay, CRM project implementation template that is for 3 months. Similarly, we can create multiple templates. Okay, or if required, every time we can create a new project from scratch. Okay, so for this demo, we will be using this template to create a new project. Okay, so here what I have given some estimated start date and estimated end date. Okay, and if I go to this schedule, here I have given some standard schedule like design process. For design, this much time will take, and for development this much time will take. So I have given some standard template for schedule. Okay, and for each and every process I mapped some consultant. Okay, but in real time we need to map multiple resources, but for this demo purpose, for each and every stage I mapped only one consultant here. Okay, so this is just a project template. This is not the actual project, this is the project template. Okay, and if I go to this team, here currently I have marked only one consultant here. Okay, if I mark multiple people here, then all those will be available here under this team tab. Okay, if I have mapped project manager, technical consultant, testing team. So if I map all those things using this new button, then everything will be available here. But now for time being, we'll be going with just one resource. Okay, so we will assume that for this project we are going to implement using just one resource. Okay, so this is just a template. Okay, now I will go to this project. Okay, here I will create one new project. Okay, so while creating this project, I will be using the same template that I already have, right? So I will be using the template. So here the project name will be implement CRM. Here I will be selecting the calendar template, whether it's going to be a first shift or second shift. So that I will be selecting here. And currently since I am creating this project record, project manager and contracting unit is coming from my user record. Okay, in case if I want to change, I can change it here. And automatically this estimated hours is getting populated, right? It is populating like 512. Actually, this value is coming from the project template that I need here. So based on the project template, this estimated hours value got populated automatically. Okay, so we need 512 hours of effort. And if I go to this schedule, but I think this will take some time. So what it will do, right? It will check the schedule from the project template and it will recreate the same schedule here within this project. And then the team will be automatically populated. So since I am the project manager of this record, it is creating one record as a project manager for me. And then we need to select one resource as a consultant for this project. Okay, but actually all those things will take some time. It will take one by one value from our template and it will put here. So for that, for easy purpose, I have already created one project. Okay, so this one I have already created from today's date. So we'll be using this here. Okay, so for this project, you can see, right? So from the template, it automatically created a same kind of schedule within our project also, based on the template that we selected. Okay, and then you can see the team is also there. Actually, I have deleted the project manager record from here. Okay, so as per our assumption, we are going to run this project with just one resource. Okay, so that's why I removed that project manager from here, and I just booked only my resource name here for this project. Okay, and now I will go to this estimates. Here you can see, right? So if we run this project of for 3 months with a single resource, we need to spend 64,000 rupees. Okay, because here you can see I have selected the cost rate. Okay, now what I will do is I will select sales from here. Okay, now what we are going to do, right? We are going to sell this project to customer for 96,000. Okay, so this cost rate, so this is coming from the cost rate price list I have configured for consultant user, and this sales price, this 96,000 is coming from the sales rate price list I have configured for consultant role. Okay, so now from this project record, we know like we can charge 96,000 for this project from the customer. Okay, so what I will do, right? So once our project is ready and all the planning estimates, everything is ready here, I will link this project with this code line. Okay, build CRM solution. So this is the one, right? Build CRM solution. So it is showing some error. So so we will be linking our project here within code line, and from here we got this sales price, right? 96,000. So that value we will be giving here as a quoted amount. So all these things are just for demo purpose only, but in real time the values will be very high. So this is just for demo purpose. Okay. Okay, actually I used this project earlier in one of the code line. That's why it's not accepting. So for time being, I will remove this. But in our process, actually, we need to select the correct project here. Okay, I would have used the new one, but it will take some time to capture the estimate value. So that's why we will go without this project lookup value. But usually we will map the project here only. Okay, and now we got the quoted amount. Now what we will do, right? We will be sending this quotation to our customer. So that will have the same sales standard process. Okay. So we'll be first we need to activate this particular code. Okay, maybe here we don't have this process, I guess. Okay, here we don't have, here we don't want to activate, so we can directly export this code as a PDF and we can send it to the customer. Okay, once the customer is happy with this quotation, whatever we have given 96,000, then we can close this as well. In case if the customer is not happy with our quotation, then we will be closing this quotation as lost. Okay, and then once it is done, then a project contract record will be created automatically. So this project contract is nothing but the same order table. So only the name here we are using it as project contract, but it is nothing but the same order table that we used in our sales model. Okay, so now once our order is ready, we can confirm this order. So here you can see almost all the values have been populated from your opportunity and quote. And here, if I move to this contract lines, I'll be having the same record. Implement Dynamics CRM, and the amount is also 96,000. So in quote it was termed as quoted amount. Here in contract it is called as contracted amount. Okay. So since I didn't link my project here, it is not showing in our order line also. If I link the project correctly in my quote line, then the project also will be mapped here. Okay. Now the next step is to convert this to invoice record. Okay, so we'll be clicking on this create invoice, but I don't think this invoice will be created. Yeah, actually the invoice will not be created. The reason is so while setting up our project template, okay, I have selected this invoice frequency, monthly invoice frequency. So since I have linked this invoice frequency with my project template, we cannot create our invoice record now. Okay, so the invoice record will be created only after we reach January 1st. This one only. Okay, so currently you can see the order status is confirmed, but the invoice record will not be created for now. So we need to wait till January 1st. So only then when we click on this create invoice, a new invoice record will be created with the invoice lines. Okay, so that's all about the project operation high level flow. Okay, and finally we discussed about these 2 points, right? Time entries and expenses. Okay, so time entry is just similar to the way we book our timings, right? So every week we will be booking our time sheet, right? So similar to that, here also we have this option. So weekly time entries. So if I click on this new, then each resources need to book this time entry. Okay, so for this date for 20th, if I want to book for 8, then I can put it 8 and type as work. And project also I need to select. If currently I am logged to this build CRM solution, this project, then I will be selecting this project. And under this project also, against which task I am working. Okay, so these things you know, right? So within project we created these schedules, right? So design is the schedule for first month, and then we had development and testing and development deployment and go live, right? So these three are the schedules that are coming under that project build CRM solution. So those schedules will be converted as a project task while filling time entry. Okay, currently if I am working in the design phase of this build CRM solution project, then I will be selecting design, and my role will be automatically populated from my user record. Okay, and then if I want to give any comment, then I can give the external comments and I can say. Okay, then it will be so once this is fine, then I need to submit this timesheet, and it will be going to the manager who needs to approve my timesheet, and then it will be approved. Okay, and similarly expense also we can create similar to the one. So we are using expense application for raising this broadband claims, right? So if any resource want to claim anything, then they can create a expense record from here. So here also they need to mention the transaction date, and they will be specifying the project. So they will be selecting against which project they need to claim their expense, and expense category also they need to select. So this is configurable one. So currently we have some meals, mileage, hotel, gift. So if you want to add something, if you want to add broadband, then we can add a new expense category as broadband, and then we can select the quantity, unit price, currency. So since this organization is enabled while installing, I have given currency as US dollar. It is taking US dollar by default. So if I have given some other thing, then it will take different currency. Okay, and similar to this time entry here also, once we create this expense record, we need to submit it for approval, and our manager will either approve or reject the expense claim.